their expectations for an interest rate cut in September and sent Treasury yields sharply lower in the bond market. The new set of tariffs are set to go into effect on August 7th. The Dow was down 542 points today to close at 43,588. The Nasdaq lost 472 to 20,650. The S&P 500 dropped 101 to 6238. With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We will cool down to a low of 73 tonight. Tomorrow, much different than what we've had. Mostly cloudy, some early rain possible. The high temperature, only 79 degrees. More of this on Sunday with a high to 80. And it continues into Monday before we start to warm up again for next week. Have a great weekend. On Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, it's not just a Friday night. Here on Sports Talk, it's a frantic Friday night going into the weekend. We're running out of weekends where you have nothing to do. Pretty soon you'll have weekends full of football. Had a little taste of football last night. How about those Lions? Yes, sir, loved it. No team since 1964 has lost in the Hall of Fame game and made it to the playoffs. So keep that in mind, okay? There, producer. Keep that in mind. Yep, Lions took it on the chin last night. Love to see it. Good to have you with us on this Friday night going into the weekend. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and the plumber, Josh Cohen. Phone number 888-898-2525. Text line number 803-900-4847. As we head into the weekend and we get closer to football, of course, a lot of things are happening. You're traveling. You're going to things. There's other programming that pops up. I want to remind you that if you ever lose us here on Sports Talk, you can always find us. The Chief Sports app. The Chief Sports app is a great app to have at your fingertips on your phone. You can follow our show and many, many others. The Chief Sports app, make sure you download that. If you prefer our YouTube channel, that's a good way to keep up with us and watch us. YouTube is available on our YouTube channel and also on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. Of course, we also stream the show on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. It's also streamed on X and on Facebook. So should you lose us, you can't find us, you want to find us, that's how you can do so every night because we are there 6 to 8 every night, Monday through Friday nights. Now, tonight, of course, we're diving into football. South Carolina practiced this morning. Clemson back on the practice field today as well. We're going to hear from a Tiger and hear from a Gamecock. The only news coming out of South Carolina today, when we were there this morning for the 12 minutes or so, we were able to watch the team so-called practice.
12 whole minutes. Wow.
Yeah, about three. I think it was 3 periods, and I think they were 4 minutes each. Yeah. And when the third period was up, we were hustled out of there. So
what could you possibly see from the opening day of practice that could get out media-wise and spoil South Carolina's season? They're in helmets and shorts.
Do you know the paranoia level of your common football coach? I mean, seriously.
Ask these questions all the time. I just don't understand the secrecy that shrouds preseason practice.
Well, I mean, at some point in time, you should close it. You know,
I agree.
I can remember going back many, many years. We had a name for the Gamecock fans who used to go to practice, as I recall, going back years now. I think like Joe Morrison and Sparky Woods, maybe Brad Scott. I know Lou Holtz had open practices. I think Steve Spurrier had many of his practices, if not most or all, were open. We called them the Railbirds, because they would hang out by the fence and watch the Gamecocks practice. And, I mean, I really think Steve Spurrier didn't care if you watched his team practice or not, because he was going to beat you on Saturday. He was going to beat you on Saturday because he's smarter than you. And he
had better players.
Well, yeah, but I think he believed he was just smarter than you. He might have. Yeah, you might have thought he had better players. He thought he was just smarter than you, and he was going to beat you whether he had better players or not. I mean, he never thought he had better players in Georgia. Why do you think he always zinged Georgia about Georgia out-recruiting them every year? But here comes Florida, and we just run up 50 points on these guys. How do we do that? How do we do that with poor players? Because I'm smarter than Ray Goff by a lot. Yeah. That's what he's thinking.
Yeah, there's no question.
And I'm smarter than your guy, whoever you happen to have. I mean, hey, look, he ran circles around Brent Venables when he was a defensive coordinator at Clemson, with the help of a lot of turnovers. Clemson couldn't hang on to the football during that 5-game losing streak. So I get what you're saying, but coaches are that way now, and Dabo Swinney the same way. He lets the Clemson guys look at practice for a few minutes, but nothing significant. They get to watch warm-ups and punting drills and kickoff return drills. You get to write down the 6 guys who are returning punts, and the 8 guys who are returning kickoffs. Like, eventually it'll be just 1 guy or maybe 2 doing those chores. So you don't get to see formations. You don't get to see personnel groupings. You don't get to see anything strategically. But what we did get to see today was that Rasul Faison was not out at practice, at least during our viewing time. And Jordan Kay of the state newspaper jumped on that, did some investigative reporting, and first reported that they were holding him out because actually now he's not eligible. I guess over the spring and summer and all, he was eligible to work out with them. But now he's not eligible until he gets a waiver. And so he followed up going through the attorney for Faison, and the NCAA did grant him a waiver to practice as of this afternoon. So he can be at practice tomorrow morning. So the question is, if you can grant him a waiver to practice, why can't you grant him a waiver to play?
That's a great point.
You certainly wasted no time in getting him a waiver to practice. I guess they just asked, unless they asked him for the waiver to practice weeks ago and they're just now getting around to it. But the decision, it's now reached the ridiculous part. The fact that here we are going into their second day of practice tomorrow. He's been at South Carolina since January. Now, I know there's been bits and pieces of information that have had to be sent in to the NCAA from various quarters, and maybe some of the people have been slow getting it in. Maybe they've needed more, et cetera, but come on. At some point in time, common sense has got to rule. Make a decision one way or another. You're really not doing anybody any good. You're not doing him any good. You've already cost him a chance to go to an NFL team as a free agent. He can't go latch on with anybody now, I don't think. And obviously you're not helping the South Carolina program because this is hanging over them. So, anyway, that was the most significant item to come out of the South Carolina practice this morning that we were able to see. But he has been granted that waiver, so he will be able to practice tomorrow. And so we're going to hear from Nick Harbor tonight from the Gamecock side of things, and you handle the Clemson side of things, and who do you have planned?
I did. We're going to hear from Jeremiah Alexander, the Alabama transfer linebacker. Had some really good stuff to say. That they rave about him, talking about his work ethic and how much he's sort of already gained the respect of his current teammates. So, interesting young man that we'll hear from a little bit later in the program. But I wanted to get into the Rasul Faison situation for a moment. But first off, Josh, to make you feel a little bit better, the Texans lost last year in the Hall of Fame game and made the playoffs. So just keep that in mind.
Didn't win the Super Bowl.
No, they did not. You're right. Now to the Faison situation. First off, as culpable as the NCAA is in their lackluster response to this, Phil, some of the blame has got to start falling on the South Carolina either compliance staff or the football staff. Because Monday, Shane Beamer said that as far as he knew, he was going to be ready to practice on Friday. I think he reiterated that to you guys yesterday. He anticipated he'd be able to play and or at least be able to practice. So what happened between Monday, Thursday, and this morning that they all of a sudden just found out, oh, gosh, we can't run Faison out there because he's not eligible. So let's get on the horn with the NCAA, call Indianapolis, and get an emergency waiver so he can come out and practice tomorrow. Obviously, one day of preseason camp's not going to be that big a deal. But I'm beginning to wonder, did South Carolina do its due diligence with Rashul Faison? The only person who looks bad to me in this scenario is USC, because Rashul Faison's done nothing wrong. He's just asked to be able to play. The NCAA's got him on the sidelines. I think the Gamecocks, I don't know what they did where they believed in January that he was going to be eligible, because here we sit 8 months later and they still haven't gotten this cleared. I'm not in the camp as much with the NCAA as I think South Carolina's compliance staff and or their football staff made a huge mistake somewhere along the line.
There's blame to be shared there for sure. I guess. I think you're right. When you do your due diligence, I mean, you got to have some idea when you take a guy who you expect to be your top running back, and that's how they took him. They took him with the expectation he was going to come in and be their top running back. You've got to have some assurances that he's going to be eligible, because you kind of put your eggs in this basket. Now, they did go out and bring in another running back from Colorado, who's a big guy, who was Colorado's leading rusher last season, but for only a little over 300 yards. So I just don't know how good he is. And obviously he was a fallback guy in case this didn't work out. And so far this hasn't worked out. So you're probably right. Should they have taken him with the belief that he was going to be eligible and everything was going to be fine? They must have believed that. Somebody must have told them somewhere down the line that, hey, this can be worked out. This is all going to be good. Let's go ahead and take him. Not to mention the fact that I'm sure he's getting some either NIL money or some rev share money. Mm-hmm. Do you get that back? Do you get that back if he can't play? Does that come back to you?
That's a great question.
Can that be refunded? I don't know. I don't know how that works. If that can be refunded.
And here's the other question about the emergency waiver so that he could practice. If he's still not eligible, why are you trying to rush him out onto the field? Again, I don't get that part of the theory either, because if we're a month out from them opening the season against Virginia Tech, if he hasn't been cleared in 8 months, what gives them the notion that he's going to be cleared in 30 days? I still think you hold him out. And nothing against Rashul Faison. Again, he's done nothing wrong, but he's just a victim of this circumstance here. And so until he's cleared by the NCAA, if I'm Shane Beamer and those guys, I've got to get everybody else in that running back room ready. I'm sorry, Rashul. We've done everything we can, but you're not eligible now. We can't practice you because we've got a game to play, more than likely at this point, looks like without you. At least that's the approach you've got to take, right? I think you're doing a major disservice to your football team, especially your running back room, if you keep running Faison out there and letting him take snaps when he may or may not be a part of the team.
Only thing I would say about that, and you're exactly right, is what Beamer said yesterday. And he was asked that question, and he responded by saying, running back, we got a lot of running backs. We run them in and out. Everybody gets a lot of rotations at running back. Kind of got the feeling that that's not something they're worried about, whether he's getting first-team snaps or it is Attaway getting the first-team snap, or any of the other running backs getting those first-team snaps. He doesn't seem to be too concerned about who's getting the majority of those, because it looks like it's going to be running back by committee anyway. Even if Faison is eventually approved, it sounds like there's going to be 2 or 3 guys working their way through there. They like the Howell kid that transferred from South Carolina State. I mean, he's going to get some carries. So sure. I don't think, just based on what he had to say yesterday, I don't think he's all that worried about who's going to get the most touches in practice at running back. Is that important or not? I mean, I think I would trust they know what they're doing in handling that situation.
I would think so, and I don't want to criticize too much because we're not in the inner workings, but it just seems like, looking at it from the outside, somebody at USC made a mistake with regards to whether it's the compliance office who told Shane Beamer and the football staff, yes, he will be eligible before the season begins, or the football staff just hoped that he was going to be eligible. Surely they're not going to keep him out. Look, Diego Pavia is running his mouth all over social media. He's going to be able to play. Surely this kid can play. And now you're in a situation you had to – and the other thing I have to ask again is, why did they have to get an emergency waiver today to get him to practice after Coach Beamer was talking most of the week that he's going to be able to practice starting today. I didn't quite get that.
Well, his words were, he's going to practice unless I'm told otherwise. Yeah. So he must have been told otherwise before practice today. You better not practice him just in case. Mm-hmm. Just in case you practice an ineligible guy. You practice somebody who's later deemed ineligible, was ineligible at that time. That could cause you further headaches. So I guess they wanted to err on the side of caution, And it only cost him 1 day of
right I
in shorts. And I imagine he'll have to make up this acclimation day. You have to go through, 3 days of acclimation?
I think that's right.
Before you put on the pad. So
Which is so ridiculous now because these kids are working out all summer in the heat. Mm-hmm. They're acclimatized to the weather. I mean, matter of fact, Clemson practiced indoors today. Does that count as an acclimatation day?
Oh, yeah.
They practiced in air conditioning.
I think the first 3 days are all
exactly.
Climatization. Is it climatization? What's the word? What's the proper word?
I think acclimatization is correct.
Acclimatization? Okay.
But they are trying to acclimate themselves to the weather.
Acclimate?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't
ask me, yeah.
I wasn't asking you. I don't even know why you turned the mic on. Again, I wasn't asking you.
You looked at me.
No, I'm staring out into space. All right, a couple of other things, and then we'll hit the break. Then we can jump to some phone calls. Oh. I still have one more Hall of Fame yearbook with Sterling Sharp going into the Hall of Fame. By the way, Rick Henry from Channel 10 WIS has gone up to Canton, Ohio to cover the induction of Sterling Sharp into the Football Hall of Fame. I saw a little post from him. Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates. That's one of those basketball guys who became a great tight end. And Sterling Sharp. So he got the yearbook. And I've got one more trivia question that we'll give you in a little bit. And if you have the correct answer, you can get the book. It's a priceless collective that you will not find most anywhere. You won't find it at Walmart, Walgreens, JCPenney's, Sears and Roebuck, TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx.
Library. I'm trying. So anyway, stay tuned for that. I got
not available at Rose's.
I got another doozy trivia question that's going to stump you. We'll be right back.
75 years, one reputation, too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are, rookie or vet, playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls, battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th and 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Major Billy Downer here from the Department of Natural Resources, and DNR is excited to announce the implementation of Go Outdoors SC, a new online licensing and boat titling system that you can access right from your phone. Through this new system, customers can purchase their hunting and fishing licenses, renew their boats, apply for lottery hunt opportunities, and complete electronic harvest reporting requirements. For more information, visit Go Outdoors SC at your local app store.
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
To the stadium roar, he's the reason they come back for more. Sharp calls slicing through the air, girls leaning in, they stop and stare. Chris Bergen's got that smooth style. They tune in close, they stay a while. Sharp voice cuts like a southern breeze. The girls from Myrtle, weak in the knees, chant a Cougar game.
when they hear that sultry voice, it makes them buckle, makes those knees buckle there, Bergie. The Bergie, we call that the Bergie buckle.
The Bergie buckle, I like that.
The Bergie buckle, when you make the knees buckle there at the Coastal Carolina. You getting fired up for your opening game?
I am looking forward to that. It's the haven't been to Charlottesville in a long, long time, so I'm looking forward to going back up there and seeing the campus and hoping the Chanticleers put on a better show than they put on against UVA last year. Mm-hmm. Much like the Lions last night, they fumbled the opening kickoff and it went downhill from there fast.
Yeah.
So hopefully that won't be the case this year.
Yeah. What was the final? Do you remember the final last year against UVA?
I don't. It was UVA a lot, Coastal not nearly enough.
Yeah. All right. A couple of other notes, then we'll get to your phone calls. A phone number, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to reach us here on Sports Talk. Last night, Richland Post 215 defeated Florence Post 1 4-1 to win the American Legion Senior State Tournament. Both teams now advance to the Southeast Regional in Asheboro, North Carolina. What was weird about this game was it started at Founders Park and finished at AC Flora High School. All I know is following the posts on X is that they had bad weather at Founders Park. Mm-hmm. This was like in the 7th inning. It's a 7-inning game.
Yep.
And I saw a post that said, we're being kicked out. The way they put it was, we're being kicked out of Founders Park because of lightning. Now, I don't know if that was like we're being kicked out because the lightning is really dangerous and we're having to go somewhere else, or university officials said leave because of the lightning. I don't know. Don't have details. But they ended up going over to AC Flora, and Post 215 finished it off. They were leading 4-0. They win it 4-1, and both teams advanced to the Southeast Regional in Asheboro, North Carolina.
Derek Urquhart, the head coach at Florence Post 1, tweeted after the game, going to take a while to decompress and figure out how it all came to that. Then he went on to say he's proud of his guys for the way they handled all the changes and all the adversity off the field. You would think if anybody, Carolina baseball-wise, would get a little bit of slack cut, it would be Derek Urquhart. Outstanding player at USC during his career.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again,
he would have gotten the benefit of the doubt maybe to play a little bit longer over there.
That one tweet/post, I'm trying to call them posts. They used to be called tweets, but they're actually posts now since it's on X, so trying to use the right verbiage. But it said they were kicked out of Founders Park, so I don't even know exactly what that means.
That's strange.
We've reached out. I think Smitty was going to reach out to Chris to see if he could join us on the show tonight to talk about that game and the strange finish and the win and all that stuff, but have not heard back just yet. Let's see. What else did I want to mention here? NFL. Did I make that sound like 2 syllables? NFL.
Like Brian Kelly trying to show off and be a Cajun.
NFL. The NFL and ESPN, I mean, this is very scary here. To me, the NFL and ESPN have reached an agreement that will place many of the league's top media holdings within ESPN in exchange for equity in ESPN that's potentially worth billions. That's according to The Athletic. So ESPN's going to have its hands on more things. Disney, ESPN's parent company, will have its earnings call on Wednesday. Now, here's a question for you. Somebody answer me this. So they're doing this in conjunction with their upcoming release or launch of their direct-to-consumer service that will formally launch in the next few weeks. This service will cost $29.99 per month. It will allow subscribers to bypass cable or satellite providers to watch all ESPN programming, including live programs through ESPN's app. Okay, fine and dandy. So I'm a DirecTV subscriber. And so every month I have a charge on my bill. It's up to about $16. Used to be about $8. It's up to around $16. And it says Regional Sports, I think it says Regional Sports Network, i.e. ESPN. That's for ESPN programming. So if I were to go purchase the $29.99 service through their app and their streaming, do I still pay that regional charge as well on my DirecTV bill?
Wow.
Am I getting double? Do I get double billed?
That's a great question.
That way?
I don't know the answer to that.
Who do you? Are you Spectrum? Are you DirecTV? What are you?
We are Spectrum and then mostly streaming stuff. So we've got Spectrum to get our local channels and also obviously ESPN and some of the other stuff.
Are you charged? Have you looked at your bill? Do you see do you see an item on there that says regional sports fee or regional sports?
Now, we may be, but we're getting ESPN directly through our cable, I used to say box, but now our cable streaming platform. So it's possible, and probably understandably so.
Yeah. So,
but
I mean, somebody needs to answer that for me. That
mm-hmm.
if you're gonna subscribe to the other service, do you still have to pay for it on your cable bill? And Plummer's shaking his head like he knows. Do you know, or you're just like shaking your head? Do you know this for a fact that you still will pay the bill?
I mean, I don't know it for a fact, but it's two separate things, isn't it? We're talking about something from ESPN. You don't have a choice. Do you have a choice in paying the thing with DirecTV, the regional sports fee? Because if you don't have a choice, you're not going to get a choice.
You know what? I think is not ESPN included in every DirecTV package?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but I mean, if you didn't, you'd have the lowest package and you'd get nothing but cartoons.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We will cool down to a low of 73 tonight. Tomorrow, much different than what we've had. Mostly cloudy, some early rain possible. The high temperature, only 79 degrees. More of this on Sunday with a high to 80. And it continues into Monday before we start to warm up again for next week. Have a great weekend. On Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The Point.
And fun. President Trump imposed sweeping tariffs on imports from a number of U.S. trading partners. The S&P 500 fell 1.6% Friday, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 1.2%. The Nasdaq Composite lost 2.2%. The surprisingly weak hiring numbers led investors to step up their expectations for an interest rate cut in September. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting is shutting down after its government funding was terminated. The numbers on Wall Street: the Dow down by 542, the S&P lower by 101. More details at srnnews.com.
I don't know too many folks out there who love paying taxes, but what about getting tax credits? That's appealing, right? My buddy Ken at Broker Solar is in the tax credit business. How would you like a solar battery that helps do two things? First, it serves as an instant generator the moment the power cuts out, and it doesn't even require gasoline. Secondly, it lets you take some control back from the power companies. Yeah, you can use solar power during the peak hours when your power company wants to charge you the most. Oh, and that tax credit on solar batteries, you can get a 30% tax credit right now. This is a phenomenal time to reach out to Ken. He'll come out to your home or your business. He'll give you a comprehensive free estimate, answer any questions. Solar isn't free, but you need to take advantage of those credits when they do come around. Call Ken right now. Save on a solar-powered battery. Online, find him at brokersolar.com or just call Ken, 807-7417. That's 807-7417, Broker Solar.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or Hereford steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing the Wing and a Prayer Wednesday special. Purchase an order of wings and a drink and get a free gift card for the arcade. We have some of the most mouth-watering jumbo wings like flamethrower hot wings, barbecue wings, teriyaki wings, honey mustard wings, terry hot wings. You can get a half dozen for $9.95 or a dozen for $18.95. Served with celery and choice of dressing. So come join us at Flight Deck Restaurant to enjoy some great jumbo wings and lots of fun in our new and improved arcade. And we at Flight Deck Restaurant thank y'all, and God bless.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Sweet from Sweet Comfort Services HVAC. We're locally owned and operated, which really helps keep pricing reasonable. With lower overhead and more accountability, we stand by the systems we install, our repairs, and our parts. Most nationally owned companies know they have plenty of work this time of year when it's really hot. We'll treat you great no matter what time of year it is. Call Sweet Comfort Services HVAC at 803-331-8143. That's 803-331-8143.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
Wide open, somebody pour me a drink, somebody bum me a smoke. I'm about to get on a buzz, I'm about to get on a roll. Yeah, I've been breaking my back, just keeping up with the Joneses. Y'all know what I mean, and y'all know how it goes. When it's up on a Friday, 9 pay, sliding over my way. I can't even think when I can hear them calling my name.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network on this Friday night. Phone calls coming up in a moment. Some USC and Clemson football talk coming up as well as we hear from a couple of players. Our poll question of the week has expired, and the question was, how do you expect South Carolina's defense this season to compare to last season? Poll question brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance. Call Larry at 803-799-1998 for all your insurance needs. 55.6% believe it will not be as good. It will not be as good as last year. 44.4% believe about the same. Nobody thinks the Gamecock defense will be improved. None of the voters believe the Gamecock defense will be improved over last year. Well, hard to improve. Well, there's always areas for improvement, but I mean that defense was pretty good last year. It's pretty good, and strong up front, ran well at linebacker, excellent secondary. We'll see if these replacement guys that we've talked about before, Bergie, if they step up their game and play at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've got guys potentially who can do it, who obviously did it in high school. They haven't done it so much. Some of them haven't done it so much on the college scene. It'll be incumbent upon them to do it. If they do, then they're going to be okay.
I would agree, but it's awfully difficult to improve when you lose almost half your starters to the NFL draft, and that's exactly what they did. And as we mentioned numerous times, they were so good against the run last season, and then you had those two bookends that could get pressure on the passer. I mean, that's what made them a really, really talented defense, and I think sort of lost in the shuffle of all the Lenore Sellers hype, and understandably so. But because their defense played so well, the offense didn't have to go out and score 45 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
And that defense would, let's take the Oklahoma game. I mean, the defense actually won the Oklahoma game. It's just the offense took advantage of all the mistakes that the defense forced.
That defense was special last year in that they could create turnovers, very talented in the secondary, big up front, and they could run. Of course, the pressure coming off the edges were supreme. I don't know if they can expect as a team to have the sack totals like they had last year when you had, Kennard have how many sacks did he finish with? Like, was it 15 and a half? Something like that. And then Stewart coming off the other edge. I mean, they were creating havoc in the backfield almost every time quarterbacks went back to pass. So it's got to be an area that hang on a second here. Oh, got to be an area that there's got to be a little bit of concern going into this season about those guys stepping up. I'm sorry I paused for a second because I saw something listed as breaking on Faison, but it was just about him getting the waiver to go on to practice. Let me give you the trivia question. Then we'll go ahead and hit some phone calls, and we're going to hear from Nick Harbor from South Carolina, and Jeremiah Alexander from Clemson. So this weekend, are the ceremonies tomorrow or Sunday? I think they're Sunday in Canton. Not 100% sure. It's this weekend. Sterling Sharp goes into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And we have a yearbook, a commemorative yearbook for the weekend ceremonies in Canton.
Which actually take place tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Very nice little book. Yes, you can buy these online. You know, these aren't like they're not numbered. It's not like it's just a few hundred. You can order them online. We're going to give you one for free. It actually costs us more to mail it to you than the price of the publication itself. So we had a really tough trivia question earlier this week that stumped everybody. Here is another one related to Sterling Sharp. It's a tough one. I don't think you can Google it. You're going to have to think on it. And here it is. So as has been talked about throughout the week in talking about Sterling Sharp, some of his great statistics with the Green Bay Packers. Now, we pointed out, like the last trivia question, that he played in all 114 games that were played when he was with the Packers, 112 regular season games and 2 playoff games. He would have played in more playoff games, except that his career-ending injury caused him not to play in the playoffs in his last season, and thus he missed the playoffs that year. So he only played in 2 playoff games in his career in Green Bay with Brett Favre. So he had great numbers in receptions, in yardage, in touchdown catches, all kind of great statistical numbers. But there's one statistic, one statistic that is a most unusual statistic, and it has to do with the action of the game. This isn't like how many games played. This has to do with the action of the game, something you would do in the game. And so I'm looking for this particular statistic that is sort of an anomaly. And it's a three figures in the stat, 3 figures, which makes it part of the fact that it's 3 figures, and those particular figures figure in to the trivia question. You follow me? You follow me, Bergie?
Sure.
Okay. So it's a stat. It's a very unique stat for a wide receiver. It's a very unique stat for Sterling Sharp. But it's a stat that he produced during his career with the Green Bay Packers. That's all I'm giving you. The phone number, 888-898-2525. Let's go to – now, Andy's ineligible since he won earlier this week. I've extended his ineligibility through the end of tonight's show because this book will be gone, I hope, by then. Andy, welcome in. How are you?
Corn, Chris, Josh, I hope y'all are doing well. I'm doing well. First off, awesome. Corn, thank you for spending the $2 and I think it was 21 cents to mail that thing to
$11.
Me. Beautiful.
$11.03.
And it's also only available at Andy's house other than through Corn. So don't forget that other place you could get one.
hey, you shouldn't put that out there. Somebody
let me tell people it's a very nice program. Unfortunately, I don't know who the last name is that's written on there, Corn. I don't know if your secretary Josh, how great of a job he did, and plus I asked him to put on there "Do Not Bend," which it was bent a little bit.
I did put "Do Not Bend" on there.
Well, it was bent a little bit, unfortunately.
That was, you can blame your local postal service.
I'll yell at my post lady when I see her.
And they'll still raise your prices. They're still going to raise the price of a stamp and raise the price of a
some Forever stamps on it, so you probably have some like 20-cent stamps from your years back that you threw on there.
You got the last you got the last 3 stamps I had.
But I wanted to call and thank you very much for sending that to me.
You're welcome.
It was very nice of you. You could have stopped by and I would have taken you to lunch.
Oh.
You know, considering I know that you never bring your wallet whenever you go to lunch with anybody. You know, we're pretty much close in the neighborhood.
I was busy.
In the same.
I was busy.
Same district. You're always busy.
Yep.
But one question I have about Faison. What's this lawyer that he hired? What in God's name is he doing? I mean, we haven't heard a peep about him. And how much cash is this cat getting for getting no results or having anything getting done other than getting a waiver for him to practice? Even if I don't even know if he was involved in that.
Good question. Somebody's got to be paying the lawyer's bill, unless the lawyer is just voluntarily working on the case. I don't know. Do lawyers?
What lawyer have you ever heard that's a voluntary lawyer?
Well, Jim Corbett,
pro bono lawyer.
Jim Corbett, Gentleman Jim Corbett, attorney for the Stars, will be more than willing to help you out if you're in need.
So if I get thrown in jail, I can call up Jim Corbett and he'll pro bono me out of the pokey?
Up to a certain amount. I mean, if you're in there for a long run, he's going to have to hit you up with something, If it's a quick turnaround to get you out in a hurry.
Maybe I can trade him the Hall of Fame program to
maybe so.
bail me out of the pokey.
I hope so. I hope so. I'm glad you enjoy it and have fun with it.
I do appreciate it very much, and I appreciate y'all very much. Y'all are very generous, and I appreciate you doing that for me. And
you got it.
I wasn't going to try to answer the question tonight because I feel like someone else should have the opportunity to enjoy this program as much as I am.
Let's share the love. All right, thank you very much, Andy. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Andy.
Good hearing from you. Let's go to Taylor in Cheraw. Next phone call here on Sports Talk. Hello, Taylor. Welcome in.
Hey, Phil. How you been?
Good, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Legion ball's over, and school's about to start. I'll be teaching and coaching again, and busy.
You coaching at Columbia? At what CC? What is it? Columbia? Go ahead.
I'm coaching at North Central.
At North Central. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm up there, and then I'm teaching third grade Lugolf. So that's where I moved out there. I bought me a house, so it's pretty nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm calling because my dad and I, we're going to the Braves and Reds game tomorrow at the MLB Speedway.
At Bristol?
Yes, sir. We are. We're making the trip up there, and what do you think I should take as pointers as going to a NASCAR venue for baseball?
Jeez. Bergie, I've never been to Bristol, so I've only driven.
I haven't either.
I've driven by the city. I don't think I've ever seen the track, so I couldn't really tell you about what to expect, except, Bristol's a huge Coliseum type of an arena. It's going to be a baseball game. It's not going to be I'm sure there'll be some race type themes going on at Bristol. They got Marty and McGee going to be there from ESPN, so that kind of gives it a NASCAR flair.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think you're gonna watch two bad baseball teams play in a non-baseball park in a game that's just been kind of created out of thin air for the purpose of playing it in a NASCAR facility, Bergie. That's about all I can think of.
Did you watch the game last night? It was pretty good.
Yeah, well, the Braves lost today 3-2. So
I know. I'm a Braves fan, but my dad's a Reds fan, so kind of like this I cheer for the Reds too sometimes.
Well, you can have some fun. The Braves are 46-63. Actually, I was wrong about the Reds. I didn't realize they're 5 games over 500. So I give them their
like 2 from the wild card. They're close.
Yeah. So they're not so bad. Obviously, the Braves are not good this year, and they're probably going to lose. I imagine they won last night, but lost today, and we'll see how this park plays. I mean, it's interesting because you're not going to know a thing about how anything from a baseball standpoint works in that park. How does the ball carry?
Right.
What's this infield going to feel like to them? All this kind of stuff that you know to expect when you go to a regular baseball park. You got 90,000 people going to be there. 90,000 people for a baseball game. So, but I'll say this: Bristol's used to having 180, aren't they, Bergie?
Yeah,
So
that place is gigantic for NASCAR, so they'll be fine there. It will be fascinating to see how the players adjust to playing in front of what is probably double, if not in some regards triple, the amount of fans they normally play.
Mm-hmm.
We get 80, 90,000, and we're talking football, not baseball. And it's weird, too, the way they set this thing up, and I guess they did it on purpose, but instead of this series ending on Sunday, which most weekend series do, the Braves at least have an off day on Sunday after this, which is odd. So you've got a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series in Major League Baseball, which is almost unheard of.
And thank you, Taylor. We appreciate it. If I'm not mistaken, when they played that first game in Iowa, Yankees and White Sox, I'm thinking that they also had an off day worked in on that weekend back then. So maybe that's part of this deal. Well, I don't know, but maybe it's part of this deal for these teams to kind of go out of their way and play this game in this setting, that they get an off day that weekend. I don't know. That's good. It's a good point. So the Braves are off on. They built in. The Braves are off on some. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they built in a rain day.
In case they can't play on Saturday, they get a chance to play on Sunday, because you wouldn't want Bristol to go through all this trouble. They had to bring in, just saw a video, they had to bring in dirt from like Pennsylvania to get it and make the infield dirt. So you wouldn't want Bristol to put all this money into setting up the stadium, and they never get to play the game.
Will Benson hit his ninth multi-homer of the year. What's a multi-homer? To power the Reds to a 3-2 win over the Braves.
Probably should have said multi-home run game.
I guess. That's AP writing here.
75 years. One reputation. Too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are. Rookie or vet. Playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls, battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th and 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Has your credit seen better days? At Founders Federal Credit Union, we get it. Life happens. That's why we offer personal and auto loans that help you move forward. With flexible terms and a team that sees more than just a number. You don't need perfect credit to start your next chapter. Visit foundersfcu.com or a local office today. Founders, helping you do life on your terms. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Going to get back to calls in a moment. Had a chance to talk to South Carolina receiver Nick Harbor at the USC Media Day yesterday. Here's our conversation.
Nick, how are you feeling going into this season compared to last year, especially with so much expectation placed on your shoulders going into this season?
Blessed. The Lord has blessed me, with the opportunity to play the game, to learn the game, become a better player at the game. So, day by day, I just use that ability that he gave me and, just to, take on the field. So, I'm a very confident player now. I've, improved in leadership, improved as a teammate, just help the young guys out, just doing anything I can to help the team. So I'm ready for it.
How are you physically different compared to last year since you stayed away from the track and focused on getting ready for football?
I've definitely got my body, better. I'm finally, lifting in 300s, benching, squatting 500, stuff like that. So physically, I've definitely improved, cut down weight, cut down body fat, everything, that everybody, calls me a physical freak on, just improved on that. But, I feel like the best thing I did was improve mentally as a player. And, that's what I needed to do. I need to step away from, a sport that I've been doing for such a long time. And I knew I wanted to go somewhere. So, I had to step away, just lock in on the grind, and that's what we've been doing.
How much has Coach Furry just challenged you to get more out of you?
He's challenged me a lot. Every day he's challenged me. I've accepted that challenge, and we go to work every day. I go to work with my boys, and, I just love going to work with them. I won't even say he challenged me the most. I feel like they have. And, just the competition that we got in this room and, just the ability, to be an older guy, and a young guy at the same point because, 20 years old, learning a new position, got young guys that, are asking you questions. Now you got like, okay, now you're getting old now. So now you got to see, you seeing the game differently. Now the young guys seeing it fast, you telling them to slow it down. Everything's starting to slow down for you. So it's just like, man, like, just to be in that room with all them boys it's just a blessing.
Coach Beamer said that he believes that this wide receiver room could be the best he's had at South Carolina.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely, for sure. I feel like we got every part, that we need, and I ain't going to say too much about it. I'm just going to let the play speak for itself.
When was it last season when the light kind of came on for you? Was there a particular catch, a particular game when you realized that, you know what, I kind of got this now?
Mm-hmm. I feel like, the Alabama catch, was something that, it was like, okay, spark my confidence, to finally get that ability, to get trusted, in them type of moments. That's the moment everybody wants. Like, we need a play, go get a play. And, we threw the ball, caught it. Obviously we lost the game. But then just after that, I feel like, and then the Missouri game, when I had them 2 big catches, and I'm like, okay, all right, now I'm seeing something. Now I'm starting to understand everything. And just game by game by game, it just improved. Mentally, I just started slowing the game down. I started being less nervous, and I just started, embracing, who I was.
How well are you and Lenoris connected?
Oh, we're real connected. We're one mind and 2 bodies. So, he trusts me a lot. I trust him. Anytime he needs to throw the ball to 8 gonna go get it for him.
How good has he looked?
He's looked great. That's the best quarterback in the nation right there, and I'm proud for him to be my quarterback.
Do you still have any aspirations for track at some point in time, or are you thinking strictly have a great year and then look at the NFL?
Hey, we focus on ball right now. It's that time of the season. We're about track after.
What is your speed like right now? Are you maintaining the same kind of speed that you had when you got here?
I got faster.
You got faster?
Yeah, I got faster. Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean?
We're going to see what happens on the field.
So what's your message to opposing cornerbacks when they want to line up against you this season in man coverage?
Let's have a great game. I ain't gonna say nothing about no opposing quarterbacks. I don't got no message for nobody. Let's have a great game. Let's keep everything on the field.
Do you think there's any cornerback out there that can run with you though, if you're given a shot down the field?
Nah, most definitely not. Personally, in my mind, I feel like nobody can guard me. But at the end of the day, though, it's just, I got to go out there, do whatever's for the team. So, I'm not really going to say too much because that gets into everything. So we're just going to keep it at that.
All right. And what are your personal expectations for this season for the team? Playoffs, a run towards a national championship? I mean, is that legitimate conversation taking place in this locker room?
Oh, yeah, that's in every locker room. But, I think the mindset that we got is just take it game by game, play by play. We can't focus on – today we can't focus on the national championship. We got to focus on practice number 1. And then when game number 1 gets there, we got game 1. Then when game 1, game 2, and then we'll go on from there, how we did last year.
All right, Nick Harbor, who could have a breakout season. I think he had 26 catches last year, 3 touchdown catches. I wouldn't be surprised, Bergie, if he didn't triple the catch figure and have double-digit touchdown catches.
Especially if he's faster than what he was last year. Good grief. I think your question about can any corner guard him My advice to them, and since Nick wasn't going to give any, my advice to them, if you're trying to guard him, turn and run backwards as quickly as you can.
He's got to be
maybe your only hope.
He's got to be an unbelievable cover with his speed and his
no
size.
doubt in
He's
that
gotta be
size.
unbelievable. All right, very quickly before we hit the top of the hour, we got about 75 seconds. Dennis in Rock Hill, I guess, wants to take a shot at the trivia question. Maybe Dennis, welcome in. How are you? No,
I am great. It is a special honor to speak to you, Phil.
Oh, well, it's
and
great to
I
have
make
you.
One comment, and I want to get reaction from my comment. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
The Norris Sellers is the second coming of Archie Manning. I'll leave you with that and wish you a good night, and y'all enjoy that. Thanks.
Thank you. Second coming of Archie Manning. Yeah, I could see some of that, Bergie. I could see some of that. I could see a lot of that.
That predates me.
Well,
I never saw Archie Manning play. I just know he was on horrible New Orleans teams. Was that his fault or?
Well, you got to go back to his
anything around
Ole Miss days. You got to go back to his Ole Miss
Right.
days, and the way he can run, the way he can throw on the run, the way he can make plays and escape tackles. I can see the similarities.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The situation in Gaza continues to deteriorate, with audio from Sky News correspondent Ed Donahue reports.
President Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, got a look at a food distribution site in the Gaza Strip. There are reports of violence and starvation around Gaza, but there's also been talk there's no famine in Gaza. American pediatrician Tom Adamkevich says the situation is bad in Gaza.
Many children are passing out literally during the day and injuring themselves. Particularly difficult to see are pretty much any child with a chronic illness.
I'm Ed Donahue.
There's been deadly flooding along the East Coast.
A 13-year-old boy in Maryland died after getting trapped in a storm drain during heavy rainfall and flooding on the East Coast. A Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company spokesperson says kids were playing in the rain Thursday when floodwaters rushed into the area. Areas in New York and New Jersey saw heavy rain flood sections of the subway and commuter rail routes. The National Weather Service is warning that more storms might bring flash and urban flooding to the northern, mid-Atlantic, and southern New England area through Friday night. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
President Trump has ordered the repositioning of 2 nuclear submarines. Friday's decision comes after what he calls highly provocative statements by former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. Medvedev and Trump have feuded online in recent days. Authorities have launched a manhunt after a shooting at a Montana bar left 4 people dead. State investigators said the shooting happened Friday morning at the Owl Bar in Anaconda. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 542 points. More at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
I'm an artist, and I'm in my studio. I listen to the radio all day, and I'm hearing the ads about Relief Factor. And I've got pain in my neck, and it's getting worse. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to go ahead and order this. 2 weeks later, I've got much better range of motion. If you're experiencing pain at a certain point in life, I would get Relief Factor.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Let's see, if something costs less,
but people are happier with it. That sounds like something to look into, and that is MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save families up to $500 a month, and obviously that's a big deal, but they like it too, especially being part of something that reflects their values instead of working against them. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. Find out more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
Stocks ended the week with losses.
The stock market had its worst day since May after the government reported a sharp slowdown in hiring and President Donald Trump imposed sweeping tariffs on imports from a number of U.S. trading partners. The S&P 500 fell 1.6% Friday. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 542 points. It's about 1.2%. The Nasdaq Composite lost 2.2%. The surprisingly weak hiring numbers led investors to step up their expectations for an interest rate cut in September. They also sent Treasury yields sharply lower in the bond market. Seth Sutel, New York.
President Trump on Friday had his team remove the head of the agency that produces the monthly jobs figures after a weak report showed hiring slowed and was much weaker in April and May than previously reported. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We will cool down to a low of 73 tonight. Tomorrow, much different than what we've had. Mostly cloudy, some early rain possible. The high temperature, only 79 degrees. More of this on Sunday with a high of 80. And it continues into Monday before we start to warm up again for next week. Have a great weekend. On Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we're back at Sports Talk Media Network on this frenetic Friday night. Hey, frenetic Friday night. How about that?
Could say it's a football Friday.
Yeah, not quite. Doesn't qualify. Not enough football to be a football Friday, but
we've got high school scrimmages going on tonight in some locales.
Really? It must be
Yes.
Skeeza. Because,
Skeeza. Yeah. It is. My wife's team actually has a scrimmage here in Florence tonight.
Who does she play
weather
for?
Holds.
Who does she play for?
Yeah, she lines up for Lee Academy over in Bishopville. She's the athletic trainer, of course, for them, and they're facing Florence Christian tonight.
Understood. Okay, phone number 888-898-2525. Still want to give away this yearbook. The trivia question is Sterling Sharp, all his stats, great stats in his 7-year career with the Green Bay Packers, receiving, yardage, touchdowns. But there's one other stat. There's one other stat that is quite unique among his stats. That is an actual game-related physical statistic. What is that stat? I need the complete stat. I need the whole line for that stat. You got a few more minutes to take a shot at it. George Bryan coming up at 7:35. No Jeff Owens tonight in the fast lane. He has gone up to Chicago for some R&R and some other, he's in the trading card business. And so he's up there for something with that. So he'll be back with us next week. And, of course, it's August, so we're getting towards Darlington and the Cookout Southern 500, the first playoff race. So looking forward to all that on Labor Day weekend. What a Labor Day weekend we're going to have here around South Carolina. Quickly, let's go to Sam in Charleston. Been holding for a couple of minutes. Sam, welcome into Sports Talk. How are you?
I'm doing okay because I hate this heat so bad down here. We have a heat wave today. I was like, I'm done.
I love the heat, Sam. I love the heat. Not only do I love the heat, I love to bring the heat, Sam. Don't you bring the heat? When you're at a Cougar basketball game, do you bring the heat?
Well, actually, it's going to change this year because I got a cool dance move. You know what it's called?
What's it called?
It's called the Big Mac dance.
The Big Mac.
Like,
the Big Mac dance?
Yeah. You just go side to side, get a little onto it, baby. Get a little onto it. And so I have a two-part question to ask you about this upcoming week. So I know we got some new guys for the upcoming season, for basketball season. And I'm trying to be careful about this, but I'll say it again. We have a great team this year. I want to have a big shout-out to the Cougar fans and Cougar. If you have a Cougar fan or a Cougar fan base, we have a phenomenal team this year. The first question I'm having is that how deep is our bench this year compared to last year's? That's number one. Number two.
I think it's going to be your bench. I think it's going to be solid wood.
Okay.
Unless they've upgraded to aluminum. They might have upgraded to aluminum, but most benches that I've sat on over the years was solid wood.
Okay, so here's
splinters. That's why you got splinters. You know, the bench boys, you get splinters because you sat on you sat on solid wood. Bergie, when you sat on the bench, did you get splinters?
Well, actually, I'm right behind the cooler because I can't see a damn thing. But so here's number two question to ask you to talk about this next week. You know, this year is my 20th year anniversary helping the basketball team. And get this, I'm actually one of my players to hold my shirt during the jump around. They're going to hold my shirt. I'm going to go crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
And here's a question for you.
I got to believe that the mojo that comes off your shirt to those players makes the Cougars play that much better. Unbelievable mojo.
I just want to let you know that if your listeners are listening to this, renew your tickets. We want you nasty. I will get you hyped up. I want to get your
So you're bringing the heat. What you're doing, Sam, is you're bringing the heat right now, and you don't even know it. You're bringing the heat.
Well, actually, you know who's going to bring the heat this year? It's the Big Mac. So get ready, Big Mac. We got a good year ahead of us, baby. It's going to be a long season. Woohoo!
All right, Sam, thank you very much. Mr. Cougar. The Mac, what do you call it? The Big Mac? The
Big Mac dance. Yes.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if he was promoting season tickets or not.
Or McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know?
I so wish the college had football.
That would be.
It gives something for Sam to chat about during the fall.
Mm-hmm.
He's so geeked up about basketball starting.
Yeah, he never gets basketball off the mind.
Just wish they had football for him, too. Could you imagine Sam at a football game?
Oh, my gosh. Be crazy.
Be going nuts.
All right, thank you, Sam. Appreciate the phone call. Lines are now open if you want to take a shot at the trivia question. In the meantime, let's hear from the newest of the Clemson linebackers, Bergie, and he's gotten rave reviews since he's gotten on campus after transferring from Alabama, much like some of the transfers we talked about at South Carolina who came from big-time programs but didn't do a whole lot. Kind of the same thing here with Jeremiah Alexander. Great reputation at a high school, didn't do a lot at Alabama, now getting new life at Clemson.
High school teammate of Peter Woods, and Dabo Swinney saying yesterday before practice he was asked about Jeremiah Alexander, and he said if every player worked as hard as he does, he'd have the easiest job in the world. Now, of course, Dabo's known for hyperbole, but, you know, you listen to him talk and then his teammates talk about this kid, he may not be far off. He's evidently an extremely hard worker, and he met with the media last night after their first practice, and here's a little bit about what he had to say about his new team, the Clemson Tigers.
Grayson Man with TigerNet.com. Dabo Swinney earlier said if everyone worked as hard as you, it'd be the easiest job in the world. Just to hear that kind of praise from someone who's only really been your head coach for a couple months, just what has that kind of been like for you?
It's definitely a blessing, man. I just, try to go 1-0 each and every day, man, and kind of capitalize, just trying to become the best version of myself and, help the guys around me.
Jason Priester, Clemson Insider. Wade and Sammy both talked about how you like to come in early, and that's kind of rubbed off on the rest of the team. Is that something you did while you were at Alabama?
Yes, sir. It was something I did. It was more low key when I was at Bama, but when I came here, I was rooming with Peter Woods. We just kind of made it a thing just to come in, and everybody else started, catching on to the vibes, and we got offensive guys doing it, defensive guys doing it, just trying to go 1-0 and just become the best versions of ourselves for real.
Darren Carter, News. What is that? I guess where does that work ethic that you've been doing throughout college just comes from?
Yeah, I would have to say my father. In youth league, he would have all the guys running stadiums, pushing sleds, pushing tires, just doing little things extra each and every day. So definitely my dad probably instilled that work ethic into me. He had worked two jobs growing up, so just seeing my dad always working hard, it definitely has to go to him as far as where I get my work ethic from.
Coach Boulware talked about using you in a bunch of different ways. How do you kind of see yourself fitting into this defense, and where do you see yourself at?
Honestly, man, I just want to come in and be able to make an impact on and off the field, whether that's on special teams, whether that's playing Sam, Mike, or Will, just trying to be a role player for the guys and just make a name for myself.
You haven't been here long. You've got a nickname. Everybody raves about you, from your coaches to your fellow players. Does this feel like home already? Do you feel like this is the best choice?
Yes, sir. I kind of felt that when I first got here, man, reconnecting with Peter Woods, the relationship with Coach Sweeney, just the beautiful campus. I remember it from high school, but I'm excited to be here, and I definitely would call this place home.
Facts and Childress, 105.5 The Roar. You obviously played LSU twice when you were at Alabama. Can you talk a little bit about some of that rivalry still might be in the back of your mind to an extent, and playing a team of that caliber week one? It's your first game with the new school.
Really, man, I know we opened up with the guys, LSU, but I really haven't, since I've got here, I've just kind of put everything else behind me. And, of course, Coach Sweeney always preaches windshield mentality. You don't forget the past, but you kind of look for the future and just focus on the future and always being present at where you're at right now. So as far as the rivalry back at Bama, I really don't think about that a lot. And as far as going forward, I feel like each game is a big game because Clemson's playing in it. So it's just that mentality of going 1-0 each and every day.
Todd Summers, WSPA TV. Tell me about what you've learned from Coach Boulware so quickly. He's got a lot of name recognition around here. He brings a lot of intensity. What have you learned from him that maybe you were lacking before you met him?
One thing Coach Ben brings to the table, and what he brings to me and what I see from him, is just his energy. He's a younger coach. He's able to relate to his players a lot more. So just being able to have that relationship with a coach that he's been here, he's won a national championship. So everything that he's done, I'm trying to accomplish, and so are the guys in our room. So it's easy for us to look up to him.
Wade Woodhouse was saying that he sees you here still, lifting weights at 5:30 p.m. and says, go home, bro, take a nap or something. What if he says that to you? What do? Do you go home or do you stay?
I'm gonna probably stay, man. I like to listen to Kobe Bryant, and he's kind of a big idol to me as far as how he worked and the Mamba mentality. And he's always saying he's pushed himself to exhaustion to become the best version of himself. So that's kind of something that I've kind of took upon myself to kind of forsake into my lifestyle each and every day.
Do you have a childhood idol that you looked up to playing wise that you tried to emulate your game after, or an all-time favorite player?
Childhood, I played both sides of the ball. So not really, but as I got to high school, I was rushing the passer, kind of Von Miller. We kind of had the same height, but I kind of got moved to inside linebacker. So, now that I'm coming more of my IQ and my tendencies are coming higher, I kind of like to watch film on Patrick Queen. The guy, he's kind of same stature as me. So I like to watch a lot of ball, though, but Patrick Queen is probably now is the guy that I like to watch a lot.
In terms of Tom Allen and his scheme, what does he do that makes things so simple for you guys to be able to play?
Man, Coach Allen, first of all, man, his energy, it allows you to want to come to work each and every day and put everything on the line for him. Like I said, Coach Ben, just the energy that the defensive staff brings is just unmatched. He just allows us to play fast and physical, keeping the play call simple, and we're just able to go out there and play ball and not think a lot.
Jeremiah Alexander, we'll see what he brings to the table for the Tigers. They certainly are happy with him thus far. Tell you what, let me mention this little note from the writers covering the Clemson practice today. Apparently, cornerback Jaden Lucas was in yellow, non-contact. this is a new injury. Dabo Swinney did not list Lucas as being among the injured when they kicked off camp yesterday. He's had a injury-plagued career at Clemson, just can't stay healthy. So he is in yellow right now. Nothing more to add to that. Just going to say once again as we begin a year, for all the great things they do with Clemson media up there, my gosh, why can't they put, the roving mic might be a little tough in that small room they're in, just a matter of getting around to people. But you could put up a couple of stationary mics to pick up the questions.
Yeah.
So we don't have to hear all this hiss and background noise and inaudible questions asked of their players. I mean, and especially in this era where everything is streamed, you would think for your own streaming purposes, you'd want the people who are paying the Clemson Plus or whatever they call it up there, the listener and the viewer wants to hear the questions as well. So, come on, Tigers, you can do better than that. You got plenty of money.
They certainly can.
Spring
They've
for
got
2
enough
mics.
money.
I'll send you. I tell you what I'll do. Since apparently I'm not going to be mailing off this yearbook, I'll save the $10, the $11, and I'll put that towards a mic for you. And you can seriously buy a couple of mics. They got them. They got radio audio equipment galore up there. It would not be a hard thing to do.
Yeah, and they just built that new media area in their ops building. You would have thought that would have been something they would have considered putting in. And for our listeners, if you don't understand, the microphone that you're hearing the questions off of is the one that's in front of the players or the coaches. And that's why you hear that noise in the background, because they have to turn that one up so loud to hear the question. And then they turn it back down to get the answer.
Such a simple fix. It's such a simple fix. Okay, we'll be back in just a moment.
75 years, one reputation, too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are, rookie or vet, playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls, battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th and 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's Corbett. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
G3 here with Tsunami Bar Sports, and it's time for a fall preview. That's right, 720 Chris Drive, 378 and I-26, Frontage Road, where you can now preview the best technology for golf known to man. It's the Tsunami Bar. It's live weight. It's the only technology out where you get your tempo and flow going before you play. Now, it also serves as a pattern support tool. 720 Chris Drive, Frontage Road, 378 and I-26. You also can visit the Garage Gym Pro Shop. Pick up your tools, take them home, and while you're here, tour the Scramble Course 6-hole pitch and putt right now.
We're back. Sports Talk Media Network. Normally Jeff Owens in this segment. It's Friday for him up in Chicago, so we give him the night off. Of course, NASCAR is in action this weekend at Iowa. Race tomorrow, race on Sundays. We go into this race, and we're running out of races in the regular season. Bergie, it's getting tight for the playoffs. So right now, as you look at the playoff picture, you've got, of course, Denny Hamlin is the overall leader, and then Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Shane Van Gisbergen, which, to his credit, he's the road course master. And he might win a road course race. I think there's a road course race in the first 3 races of the playoffs.
No.
Is there not?
No. He will not advance to the second round because there's not a road course in the first 3.
Okay, well then he won't advance.
His only hope was to get a road course in the first round to make it to the second round. You won't have to worry about Shane Van Gisbergen after the first 3 races of the playoffs.
Okay.
If you're not a fan of a road course ringer running in NASCAR, and that's all he is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not a knock on him. But that's what he is right now.
Yeah.
Until he proves otherwise.
Yeah, that was like, what was it, a couple of years ago? Who was it that won Daytona? And as a result, didn't do anything else the rest of the year, but he won Daytona and got into the playoffs, and, of course, didn't advance either because he just was at the right place at the right time at Daytona.
Right.
Who was that? That was we'll have to go back and look. But Chase Elliott would be 5th, and then it's William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace now is all the way up to number 9, safely above. Well, he's in anyway by virtue of winning. Joey Logano, all these guys are in on wins. Ross Chastain and Josh Berry. Only 3 spots remain for, I guess, at large. Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman, and Chris Buescher right now are in on points, 14, 15, 16. And then Ryan Preece is 42 points behind the cut, behind Buescher. So that's a pretty good cushion for Buescher at 16. Preece is 17. Kyle Busch is 18. Ty Gibbs is 19. And A.J. Allmendinger is at number 20. And a reminder that, of course, that first playoff race will be at Darlington. Don't miss the iconic Cookout Southern 500 on August 31st. The Cup Series will race into the track, too tough to tame, to kick off the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Get your tickets now. Take our word for it. If you don't, you're going to be left out in the cold. Also, don't miss out on special pricing for kids, for military, for first responders, and for teachers and groups. Visit darlingtonraceway.com for tickets. It's going to be a great game, a great crowd anyway. It's going to be a terrific crowd. It's going to be a great Labor Day weekend for racing at Darlington, mixed in with all the football going on. Mm-hmm. I do wonder about, the impact of a South Carolina football game. Of course, the game should be over right about the time they take the green flag. They kick it off at 3 in Atlanta, and it'll be about 6:30. You're probably going to have some green flag racing while the Gamecocks and Hokies are battling it out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that's unfortunate from a Darlington perspective because I do think Gamecock fans and NASCAR fans will make a decision, and my guess is football will win out. And it's unfortunate. We've never had to deal with this because heaven forbid you play college football on a Sunday, but here we go. So college football has now, much like the NFL, play on every day of the week. And so that's unfortunate, and it's unfortunate for Darlington. But as they like to say often, it is what it is.
It is what it is. All right, so nobody's taking a swing at the trivia question. Thus, I will keep this book myself. I tried to give it away, but I'll keep it to myself.
You made it nearly impossible to give it away, but you did try.
Well, I don't believe, and you know what? Anything worth earning, is worth working for. It's nothing should come easy in this life. You know what I mean? So the answer to the trivia question, you liked the trivia question. You thought it was a good trivia question.
I did. I thought both of them were good.
Yeah. Well, they're tough trivia questions. I mean, you sent out a snowball mamby-pamby
Well,
trivia
the one
question.
the one you gave the other night was so vague. There was no way anybody was going to get it because we kept using the word stat.
Mm-hmm.
Games played is not a stat.
It is a stat.
I know they keep it statistically, but it's not a stat.
Tell Cal
For
Ripken
fans-
Jr. it's not a stat.
For
Okay,
fans,
you're going to tell him
it's
it's not a
stat.
stat. It's a stat.
It's not a
It's
stat.
a stat. This is a stat. So the answer to the question was, of course, Sterling Sharp, 7 years, Green Bay Packers, great receiver, Hall of Famer, had a lot of catches, had a lot of yards, had a lot of touchdowns, a lot of those stats. There was one other stat that stood out in his career, and that stat is he was 1 for 1 throwing the football for 1 yard. 1 for 1 for 1
That's
yard.
crazy.
1 passing yard. 1 pass.
He had to complete that to
one
Brett Favre.
completion.
He had to.
Or maybe to himself. I mean, maybe
maybe so.
Maybe
It
he
may
was
very well
running
been.
an option pass, and the ball got batted up in the air, and he caught it, and he gained a yard.
And they got tackled.
I don't know. I just saw that in looking over his stats, and I thought to myself, that's pretty cool. 1 pass, 1 completion for 1 yard. Now, had it been 1-1-2, wouldn't have been as cool. But 1-1-1, I thought it was a pretty good trivia question. Feel free to use that at any party that you're at this fall to impress your friends. Feel free to use
I think I have the answer to this.
What's that? The answer to what?
Yes, to Sterling's. Oh, shoot. It's behind a paywall. Never mind. I thought I had the answer to whom he completed the pass to.
Oh. Who do you think it is? What's it behind?
It's a Los Angeles Times story. It says to Holmgren, but I can't get any more information on
that's
that.
the
It was
coach.
during a playoff game. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Holmgren's the coach.
Yeah.
It was in a playoff game that he completed
It
one
was in a
pass?
playoff game.
Oh, I'll look that up. Birdies, bogeys, biceps coming up.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We will cool down to a low of 73 tonight. Tomorrow, much different than what we've had. Mostly cloudy, some early rain possible. The high temperature, only 79 degrees. More of this on Sunday with a high to 80. And it continues into Monday before we start to warm up again for next week. Have a great weekend. On Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
The Point is teaming up with our friends at Americans for Prosperity, South Carolina for one big, beautiful party. Join us at Flight Deck Restaurant in Lexington Friday, August the 8th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. We'll do the afternoon drive live. And how about this? The food is on us. It's AFP and the Point's way of saying, hey, thanks for always supporting important causes, calling your elected officials, caring about local issues. Friday, August the 8th, Flight Deck. Come by and celebrate one big, beautiful party. We'll see you there.
The Point.
Difficult. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Authorities have launched a manhunt after a shooting at a Montana bar left 4 people dead. State investigators say the shooting happened Friday morning at the Owl Bar in Anaconda. Public records show that the suspect lived next door to the bar. His home was cleared by a SWAT team, but he was still at large and believed to be armed, prompting warnings from officials to avoid the area. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting is shutting down after its government funding was terminated by the Senate. Despite extraordinary efforts of millions of Americans who called, wrote, and petitioned Congress to preserve federal funding for CPB, we now face the difficult reality of closing our operations, according to CPB President Patricia Harrison. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 542 points. More details at srnnews.com.
When your pipes panic, Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning steps right in, fast and friendly. Josh and his team aren't just fixing leaks, they're restoring your peace of mind. This is when you're at your most vulnerable. You got a problem, you need a solution. They're not coming out to upsell you or talk you into something new this or new that. You'll appreciate their process. They'll tell you what needs to get done and what it'll cost before they ever even bring in their tools to start the work. They're locally owned, which unfortunately is no longer the norm in the Midlands. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning will treat every home like their own. They've done work for me, for my brother, countless numbers of Point listeners. Dial 799-2222 or visit franklinplumbing.sc.com and you tell them Kev from The Point sent you. You will experience plumbing that's more than just a fix. It's a solution from people who care about their work and stand by it. When you need them, Please don't panic. Just call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, 799-2222.
Step into summer with no unwanted guest in your home.
At Modern Exterminating Company, we're not just experts in pest control, we're your neighbors.
Glenn and Melanie Matthews here. Modern Exterminating has been part of this community since 1955, offering unmatched experience with the family touch.
Trust us to keep your home pest-free with care and dedication that only a local family-owned business can provide.
Experience the Modern Exterminating difference. Call us at 765-2315 or visit pestfreesc.com.
Let us keep your home truly yours.
It's painting season in the Midlands, and Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovation sets the tone for inspired living. Watch your home change from ordinary to outstanding with colors that liven every wall and craftsmanship you can trust. Michael and his team are fully licensed, bonded, and insured. They care for every detail inside and out of your home. Let's give your home the style and care it deserves. Call 922-5615. Southern Palmetto Painting and Renovations, where every project reflects pride.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
This is Fran Halloran, the Money Coach. Grow with the point as we build on 10 incredible years of community local radio. We've built an environment where our listeners are our family. Are you a small business with big dreams? Join the tremendous stable of advertising partners at The Point. Connect with Kevin Cohen and brainstorm a tailored strategy to escalate your business growth using the powerful platform of The Point. Call Kev directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, you can make the next year your best year.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Got George Bryan coming up, Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps with some special guests in just a moment. We got jabbering so much about the trivia question, forgot to do recruiting before
I've
we
got
hit
the answer, though.
BBB. Yeah, what's the answer real quick?
You're going to love this. Your trivia question was even better than we thought. It was in a regular season game. Packers took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in October of 1993. His 1-yard pass by Sterling Sharp completed to whom else? Robert Brooks.
Oh.
Another Gamecock.
How about that? That would have been just a little extra touch to my trivia question.
How about that?
That's quality. All right.
Good stuff.
Recruiting report brought to you by Seawells. Of course, Seawells. Get to Seawells all next week, well, Tuesday through Friday, for the daily luncheon buffet right there on Rosewood Drive. Have yourself a great meal and feel good about yourself after you fill her up, as they say. Just treat it like an Exxon gas station. Pull in and just say to the Seawells, fill her up, and you will be filled up. Also, of course, you got something requiring the very best in the catering business, just call Seawells at 803-771-7385. Recruiting-wise, a little basketball update on a big man that Clemson and South Carolina is recruiting. I get the feeling that Clemson might be on him stronger. 6'10" Will Stevens of Lake Norman, North Carolina. Clemson offered him last September, and they've remained on him very strongly, talking a lot to Coach Brad Brownell and the coaching staff. He's been to Clemson 3 times, football game, basketball game, and another recruiting visit. South Carolina offered him in June, and Lamont Paris has been working him as well. Also, Eddie Shannon has been talking to him as well from a South Carolina standpoint. They are 2 of his final 5. He's going to take an official visit to Clemson for the LSU football weekend. He's going to be talking to Lamont Paris about setting up an official visit with South Carolina. He's also going to go to Vanderbilt for an official visit September 26th. The other 2 schools on his short list are Davidson and St. Mary's. This afternoon, Orangeburg-Wilkinson athlete Jordan Avinger committed to Arkansas. That's the second high school player in our state this year to commit to Arkansas. And Woodruff tight end Cameron Taylor, who's 6'5", 240, committed to Liberty. That'll do it for recruiting tonight here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawells.
4,
It went straight down the middle. Then it started to hook just a wee bit. And that's when my caddy lost sight of it. That little white pellet has never been found to this day.
All right, it is time to talk birdies, bogeys, biceps. Here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Tsunami Bar Sports in West Columbia. We welcome in George Bryan III, our instructor, our teacher, our leader, our guide in all things great in the world of golf. And not only, George, do we have you on the tee, but we've got two playing partners ready to go for you whenever you're ready. They are standing by on their respective tee boxes as well.
Hey, I got to tell you, Josh, thank you for letting me re-tee because I dropped it, so I whiffed, and now here we go. Welcome. We're going to get right to it. Chase Butler was so kind. He's got a lot going on right now, and he's going to get us started with SCJGA results. And the one and only 2025 South Carolina State Amateur Champion will be patient and allow Chase to talk about the Tri-County chapter of the SCJGA, which hosted his start in competition golf. So, hey, Sam, I know you're sitting there with a smile on your face because we got a lot to do, but we're going to let Chase play through. And, Chase, welcome. 20 years been our head instructor at GBGA, and he's one of the leaders in the Carolinas PGA section. He's the Palmetto chapter director, and he's going to talk about the Tri-County chapter, and he will be quick. He can play fast. Welcome, Chase.
All right. Y'all ready? So we had 6 events this summer. We played at Mid-Carolina, Newberry, and Persimmon Hill this summer. And in our boys 7 and 9 division, making the All-Stars was Jack Walker Anders and Eli Swim. And the boys 10 to 12 was Stellan Kellis and Hudson Ellerby. And the boys 13-14 was Ian Clark and Cooper Rayleigh. Boys 15 to 18, they had more than 20 players, so they get to do 3. They had Jesse Carlisle, John Weston Finley, and Hayden Gale. And then the girls 10 to 12, Madden Grace Butler and Grayson Givens. And girls 13 to 18, Gia Marticello and Addison Langdale. And they all earned their spot in the Thomas D. Todd All-Star at the Fort Club in '96 on August 16th and 17th by their finishes in each tournament each summer. So they count 4 of their best finishes, and they accumulate points throughout the summer.
Well, I knew he'd be quick, and Chase Butler, the one just given those results, got his competition start in the Tri-County chapter. And Sam Jackson, I know you've been smiling. You played in that All-Star event a few times. I'm going to get them all up together, Phil. And Chase, a real quick thought back when you got started, then you kick it off to Sam. You asked Sam a question to keep this volley going.
Oh, when I got started, it was just the Hootie and the Blowfish Chapter Series is a great introduction for any skill level golfer into competition golf. We have players each summer that have never played in a golf tournament before. We have some that play in lots of golf tournaments, and it's a great mesh of skill levels so players can see. And Sam, I guess I'd ask you, what did you enjoy about the Hootie and the Blowfish Chapter Series?
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. That was that's a major throwback. Now that I'm 32, seems like forever ago I was playing those events. But no, they were fun. My first ever few events competitively was in the Tri-County Series. When I first went out there and started competing, I probably made quite a fool of myself, but no, it builds some competitive spirit in you. It lets you enjoy the camaraderie out there with the other players, and it's just a fun atmosphere looking back at it now. I'd trade a lot to be able to go back to those days because there was a lot less responsibilities back when you were 14, 15 playing those events than there is now.
Well, I'm going to jump in here real quick. There's a man named Buddy Boston. We gotta just recognize him because he absolutely knew how to set the table and make golf fun, and he made people forget they were even playing in a tournament. Back in his day, you just all showed up at a certain time and you all teed off just about the same way, front nine, back nine, shotgun start, and it's not just. He actually started the Tri-County chapter. It broke off from the Piedmont chapter where Tommy Penley started that. So Tommy and Buddy Boston were together. Most know Tommy. That's where Ben Martin got his start. Well, Dustin Johnson was over in the Tri-County just a little before Ben. And so the Ponderosa was and still is the main course. And Sam, I think that was your home track after Cooper's Creek. And Sam, talk just a little bit about what you remember in the beginning.
So Ponderosa, we had, I believe we had 2 events there every summer as part of the chapter series. We usually always kind of started and finished at Ponderosa, excuse me. I actually will never forget the first time I ever broke 80 in competition was at Ponderosa. I believe I shot 77. And I think I probably, asked my mom if I could sign up for PGA Tour qualifying school at that time, that day. And then, I think I got beat that day by a guy named Travis Cashin, who back then, was obviously probably still is a really good player. But yeah, it was fun to, go out there and, see yourself get better over the years and then get ultimately to the All-Stars a couple times was really cool because when I was 13, 14, 15, I hadn't been playing the game but a couple years, and at that time that was pretty big stuff for me. So it was fun.
I got to ask Chase Butler one memory that you have back when you played, Chase.
Man, I think it was just all the people that we got to play with. Ben Grandy, and I played a little bit with Dustin when we were really little in the Tri-County, and then, kind of made some lifelong friendships through golf. Well, it's where you mentioned, I start going back, and in addition to Dustin, actually Austin, at the time, Austin was neck and neck. That's his brother, Austin Johnson. They call him AJ. He actually had a little period where he was just as good, if not better, than Dustin early on. Now, I know Dustin would take issue with that, but I was out there, and there were plenty of days where AJ, little brother, beat big brother, and then some other players. Well, that's where George and Wesley got their start, Tri-County chapter, but the big thing is Buddy Boston, the Ponderosa, and the culture just made golf fun. I got to recognize Wally Yance. He set the table at Persimmon Hill. Bert Cromer set that table at Mid-Carolina Club. And can't go along without recognizing Brian Summer. He did awesome, and their whole staff, each of those club staff at Newberry. If I'm leaving somebody out, Chase, please fill them in. Yeah. Cully Todd over at the Ponderosa, he opened the course up for us on a day they were closed.
Oh, Kelly Todd, way to go. So, Chase, I know you have a lot going on, and I tell you, I'm so glad to hear one of his children has gone through a lot this week, and prayerfully, she is on the mend. Is she still doing good?
Yes, sir, she is.
Wonderful. Well, Chase, we're going to jump right in. You can hang on, or you can absolutely go back to the clubhouse, get you some rest. Going to shift gears, and Sam Jackson, 2025 state amateur champion. He's going to take it away, bring us up. He's not only played good in the tournament we were following this past week. We were following you, Sam. You've had a great spring and summer and a 3-year stretch. It seems like a heater roll.
I appreciate it. It's been fun. Yeah, I got a taste. I believe we talked about this. I got a taste 4 years ago now of a USGA event again at Erin Hills US Mid-Am, and fared fairly well. And that just kind of, that kind of atmosphere just kind of has motivated me and inspired me the last couple of years to keep working and get better and improve more on the mental side than anything. So, yeah, it's been a fun few years, and hopefully we got some good stuff coming in the future because we got a lot more golf to play.
So, bring us. I know this past week we were following you. You ended up 17, 18 under for 3 rounds, shot 69 in the final round to win by a couple. Take us through the state am at Carolina Country Club.
Yeah, it was a fun week. I kind of struggled out of the gate the first round, ended up shooting 3 under, 69 the first round. Really kind of got everything out of my game I could have probably that day. I didn't play very well that day, but second day made some putts, hit it really well, shot 64 in the second round, and then I hadn't been in the final group in an event since the Carolina Am back in 2024, so it's been a little over a year since I was in the final group in an event like that. So went out Saturday, didn't really do anything special, shot 69 again, kept myself right there, one back going into Sunday, and I was 2 shots back with 3 holes to play on Sunday and finished birdie, par, birdie, so win by 1. So it was a pretty fun, exciting finish.
Wow. And the runner-up at right now, I'm with him. Help me out.
Jack Wheeler.
Yeah, so also had Chase Klein in contention. I think he was leading after the first round, and he had another top finish. I got a feeling he'll knock one of these down in the near future.
Yeah, Chase was actually leading by 1 going into the final round. He got off to a bad start, but ended up bouncing back. I think he finished solo third, shot even in the final round. So definitely a good show. But no, Chase is a great kid. We rode together in the golf cart both Saturday and Sunday, and we had the best time. We talked all day, and it was fun. He's got a lot of game in front of him.
George, if I may ask Sam a quick question about the end of the tournament, not knowing how things played out for you, Sam and Jack, because you won by a shot, as you pointed out. You both shot 69. How did it play out down the stretch? Did you have to hit some big par putts coming in, or a late birdie putt? How did you manage to hang on to win?
So Jack got off to a good start on the front nine. I think he shot 3 under on the front nine, and I think I shot even, and Chase shot maybe 1 over or something like that. So Jack was leading most of the back nine. 16, I made birdie, and Jack made par, so that cut it to within 1. And then 17 was a brutal hole in the final round. It was playing like 225 back into the wind. And Chase hit it a little left of the green, made bogey, and I made par to tie it. And luckily we were playing together, so I knew exactly what was going on. And then on 18, he hit it to about 12 or so feet for birdie, and I was up next. And I knew I didn't need to stiff one, but I knew I needed to at least give myself a chance to possibly make a putt. And just happened to hit probably the best shot I hit of the week, and I hit a gap wedge to about 3 inches.
Oh.
So,
wow.
Pretty cool.
Did the crowd go wild?
There was a handful of people up on 18 green. All I heard them scream when it landed was "go in," which I didn't know it was about to go in. But as soon as I saw the video later on, it definitely took a peek there.
That's fantastic. Go ahead, George.
No, that was beautiful, and I got to ask you. I know you've got golf coming up. The remainder of the summer, early fall. Talk to us about what comes up next for Sam Jackson.
Yeah, so leave for USAM next weekend out in San Francisco at Olympic Club.
Talk to us. Tell us how you got in there.
Well, starting last year, the USGA awards not all, but most of the state amateur champions exemptions now into the U.S. Amateur.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Got in via the win last week, so a little bit of a quick turnaround, but like I've been telling everybody all week, it's a pretty good problem to have. So we're gearing up and going out to San Fran next weekend, and then the U.S. Mid-Am out in Scottsdale is in September, so not a lot of turnaround between those two as well.
That is completely amazing. Now, how many folks out there listening really they know about the USGA, but they don't realize how difficult it is to play in a USGA event. And when I ask this question, and it's one that only a few is going to recognize, when you give me the answer, it won't take you long because you know exactly how many USGA events have you played in, and tell us each one.
Yeah, so the USAM will be my 5th, and then the US Mid-Am will be my 6th. I played a US Junior back in 2009 when I was just kind of starting to figure out how to play some competitive golf. I still was very, probably not ready for that stage at that time, but this will be my 4th year in a row playing the US Mid-Am, and then we're tacking on the USAM this year as well. So it's the top of the game as far as amateur golf goes whenever you can play in a USGA event, and it's going to be a fun week next week.
So you played the US Junior what year?
2009.
There you go. And you had a chance to win. You got into the semis in US Mid-Am, which is right around the corner. Talk about the big prize, Sam Jackson, the one that everybody is shooting for.
I kind of that week at Sleepy Hollow a couple years ago when I was winning some matches, we kind of had a weird week. We had a whole day of rain that we didn't even get on the golf course, so the schedule got kind of thrown into flux. So we were kind of turning and burning. We were starting matches at 7 a.m., getting done at 10:30, 11, and we were back out at noon playing the afternoon match. And the winner of the U.S. Mid-Am, they say gets a likely invitation to Augusta. But for all intents and purposes, the winner of the Mid-Am gets into Augusta. And I hadn't really that week thought about that until a Golf Channel reporter asked me after I won my quarterfinal match what that would mean. And I told him, I was like, I'll be honest with you. I was like, I haven't actually thought about that this week yet until now when you've asked me. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The USAM champion and runner-up get in. US Mid-Am champ gets in, and it gives you really everything you need to want to go out there and work on your game, work on the mental game, which I've been big on the last year or two, and just kind of keep getting better.
Well, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Sam, give me an update. How's your family?
Really good, really good. Very fortunate. We haven't told everyone yet, but my wife is expecting our first child here next year.
Oh,
so
now you've told everyone. You've just told everyone.
Hey, I can't think of a better way to say, hey, congratulations. That's amazing. Sam Jackson comes from an unbelievable family, a golf family, long time. He's and wasn't sure how you'd answer it. And by the way, I had no facts. I just was guessing. I had a hunch. Just a guess. So that'll Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations. It'll be fun keeping up with you for the next couple of weeks. I hope you'll join us and talk about that next step with a little spring invite to a place where it's awfully green, but just a few miles away.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me on as always. Enjoy the hopefully cooler temperatures this weekend, and y'all have a great rest of your summer.
Thank you.
There you go. Well, Sam Jackson, 2025 state amateur champion, heading to both U.S. Amateur and the Mid-Amateur. Thanks, Sam. And now we're going to kick it off to Phil. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and let you close this show out.
Well, before you leave,
go hang out.
I have one question for you before you leave.
Okay.
Related to the leaderboard here at the Wyndham. real quick. So Cameron Young is leading. They were interrupted by lightning, so play might be over for the day. 14 under, and then Aaron Ray is 13 under. I wanted to ask you about Mac Meisner, who's a Charleston native, went to SMU. Didn't know if you're familiar with him. He shot 63 today. He's in at 12 under. Mac Meisner, he was born in Charleston, but he played at SMU. Are you familiar with him?
I am not, but that is just more for us to ponder and investigate.
Yes.
So that's beautiful. And, yeah, well, congratulations, Mac. And, hey, thanks a lot. It was beautiful to have both Chase and Sam Jackson on, and it's a privilege to be on. Tsunami Bar Sports is our sponsor, and we got Sea Mountain Synthetic Turf that will be making some pretty cool announcements. They will join the sponsorship as we move forward into the rest of our season. And, hey, until go ahead and talk about more. But for now, I'm going to hang out with some grandbabies myself, tee 'em high, have a good weekend, but shoot 'em low, Phil.
Thank you, GB3. Yeah, Brian Campbell, who lives at Hilton Head or Bluffton, he's tied for 22nd at 6 under. Jacob Bridgman's 4 under. Carson Young is 4 under. 69-68 for those guys. Lucas Glover's 1 under after a 69. Kevin Kisner, 74. He's even. Andrew Novak is 72. He is even. Chris Bergen. Go make those knees buckle. The Bergie buckle.
Sam made my knees buckle. I can't ever imagine a situation where I could go out and say, I didn't play my best golf and shot 69.
I know.
Must be nice. Must be really nice.
I wanted to throw up. And thank you, Plummer. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you Monday.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A weak jobs report isn't playing well at the White House.
President Donald Trump on Friday ordered the firing of the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, hours after a government report showed that hiring had slowed down significantly over the past 3 months.